Hello, good morning. My name is David Lebna. Welcome back to the channel. Today's a special day because today we're harvesting the first crops for this season, and it's spinach. I tried to grow spinach last year as well, but I wasn't successful, so I'm very happy that I got some leaves this year. It is a cold water crop, but it's sensitive to bolting. Like, it starts to bolt very easily, and bolting is when the plant is prematurely flowering because of some sort of stress. So these are actually starting to bolt as well. I am seeing some flowers. I don't know if you can see them in the video. Let me see if I can find the biggest one. Yeah. If I turn this around, you can see that inside here, there's a small flower that is starting to come out. And once that happens, the leaves will get very bitter. So this is a great time. Well, this is the time when I have to harvest these, or I won't be able to eat them. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to pull the whole plant up with the root system, because I want to use these pots for some, and put this here, for some bell peppers that I have been growing. So I pull the whole thing up like this. So I'm doing it like this because these plants are done. Some are still small, but as I said, I want to use these pots. But say if these weren't bolting, you could cut them right by the soil and it will grow more spinach. But now it's too late, so I have to pull them out like this. But I still have some spinach seeds. So after I've done this, I'm going to plant some more. So I thought I'd show you how I do it. So pull this out. It's nice to harvest. It's nice to harvest. Yes. So I'll probably make some juice from these. And what I also found was that I could definitely plant more spinach in each pot. So that's what I'm going to do now on the second round. But these 3 pots here are nice and big, so I want to use them for the bell peppers. So I'm gonna plant the spinach seeds in this. So I pull this out. It's actually more than I thought it would be. Go inside here. That's not bad. That's not bad at all for a harvest. I'm happy with this. But look how much it is. So when I take this inside, I just cut off the roots, rinse off all the soil, and we'll make a nice juice. There's some fresh lemon juice, maybe some chlorella powder, and some fresh spinach. Right in the blender, and that's it. So I'm gonna fill this up really quick. I'll be back. Alright, so I have my soil here. The soil that I'm using is the soil that you saw me prepare in my last video. So it's last year's soil mixed with some composted bark and a little bit of new potting soil. And I added some fertilizer and I added some regular garden chalk. So that's it. And this is also the same soil that I used, the same mix that I used to grow the spinach here. So I know that it works. It's kind of cold today. So you see me rubbing my hands like this. We're gonna have some rain as well, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up pretty quickly. So these are the spinach seeds. This is what they look like. They kind of remind me of hammerhead sharks, the head of it. That's what they look like. You see my fingers turn white. So I patted this down so it's nice and firm, not too firm, but nice and firm still. I'm not gonna be so neat with this. I'm not gonna measure out any rows or anything like that. Like I said, I felt like the spinach that I grew in the pots, I could have grown more spinach in those pots because there was a lot of space left. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pour this out in my hand like this. One got stuck. And I'm just going to try to, as even as I can, spread these seeds out on the top of the soil, just like this. And try not to go too close to the edges. And try to not make any piles of seeds. You want to spread them out as even as you can. But don't have to be too neat. So something like that. So the thing about spinach is that it is a cold weather crop, so it grows very well in early spring in most places. It can even take a little bit of frost, which is good because we did have some cold nights these last couple of weeks, colder than normal in May. But the spinach I grew before made it, so it's good. I think it just bolted the last couple of days because we had very hot sun in these last couple of days, and one day I forgot to water them, so they went a little bit dry, and I think that is why they started to bolt. It's probably not the heat itself that makes them bolt, it's the lack of water. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you grow in spinach, as always keep it moist. And instead of watering it like a lot once a week, you should water it a little bit every day. So the surface of the soil is always a little bit damp because the roots of the spinach plants doesn't grow very deep at all. So the roots kind of linger at the surface. You saw how easy I pulled out the plants, which means it doesn't have to be growing in a deep pot. This is more than enough to grow spinach in. So those are some things to keep in mind when you're growing spinach. And even like in really sunny days, I would put this pot in the shade. I wouldn't leave it like in full sun, especially not in the middle of the day, because the soil will dry up really quick. The crops will get stressed out and it might start to bolt. And like I said, once the spinach starts to bolt, it's not really a good thing because you will end up with really bitter spinach and you don't really want that. So this is all I do. Just cover it up with a thin layer of soil, the same soil again that I'm using, and that's it. Pat it down a little bit, and that's it. So what I would do now, I would make sure and water this really good. Just be careful and take your time. You don't want to put too much pressure on this because you might splash out the seeds. Just take your time and give it some water. And then in a week or two, you will see the seeds will start to germinate. And then after that, just make sure and keep the top part of the soil damp all the time. Don't ever let it dry out completely. And you can tell it very easily when the top part of the soil is starting to get dry because it gets a light brown color. Now this one is pretty dark, as you can see, but once it starts to dry, it will get much lighter, so it's easy to see. So yeah, I think that's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you feel like you learned something from watching these videos, please subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more videos like these that are supposed to come out. Next week I'm gonna repot my tomatoes because they're still in the back here, outgrowing their small pots. I have realized that I planted these too early this year. I was too eager. I should have waited probably a month until I planted these. But it's gonna be okay, I hope. At least some. Some might be root bound, but we'll see how it goes. This channel is a lot about experimenting as well. I always like to try to see what works and what doesn't, you know. I read a lot and I do a lot of research, but A lot of things I want to try up for myself and see if it works or if it doesn't. Yep, that's everything for today. Take care of yourself, take care of your garden, eat well, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Now I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna make some juice.